Hello guys, 13th round today, 13th game of Gukesh-Ding. Very excited we are. Gukesh suffered the blow of course in the previous game, but he had a rest day and he's tough, so he's back at it. He's gonna try and win today. That's our prediction. E4 has been put to rest somehow, yeah? Not sure it had to be put to rest, but it is put to rest, so probably not happening anymore, but who knows, who knows. Who knows? Gukesh was very successful with the knight f3 outings, but he's running out of permutations. Maybe one c4 also he can do, you know? Maybe one c4 he can do also. But Ding of course looked at all kinds of things there too. Not so simple. Let's see. What do we expect? Is there a move here that Gukesh hasn't played yet? Maybe, maybe. Catalan he already did once, maybe something there. Maybe Nimzo Indian. Nimzo Indian. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Nobody knows. Let me see if they're there already. Starting in 4 minutes. Let's see if everything's working. Everything's working, yeah? Let's see. English opening for sure? No, English was when Ding was playing with white. With Gukesh with white, he hasn't yet tried English. But he could. But it would be a little bit insane. It would be a very real meta game. But Ding has so much experience in c4. Not all experience is good though for him. He sometimes loses. Let's see the video. The video footage. It's FIDE. Yeah.
More commonly known.
Yeah. The players are seated, by the way. By the by. I correlated with his engagement, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's very low viewership also on other streams. I think that people are tired of the match. They're tired. I'm also tired of the match, I have to say. It's a very tiring contest. So many ups and downs. We lost the plot. But I think today fighting game incoming. Because the tiebreak is just not it. Tiebreak is just not it. Tiebreak is just very, very dangerous for Gukesh. Very dangerous to allow a tiebreak. So he has to try today. Knight f3 was made by Dvorkovich, it is, or? Yeah, Dvorkovich. FIDE president, making the first move. I don't know if Gukesh will keep it. No, e4. Wow. No, I told you, yeah? I told you. Decisive moment, e4 comes. I'm not sure about the French. Maybe he'll go e5, maybe something else. Not at all sure. A lot of responsibility on the French for Ding. Not sure at all. It'd be funny if he just ushers some Sicilian. Usher. Maybe e5 here, just e5, just. No, the French. The French. Wow. d4. Wow. Yeah, let's see. e5, maybe closing here or maybe here. Yeah, then maybe here. Yeah, close the position with e5 here. Let's see. Winner would be a surprise from Ding. It's possible. Possible. Rishi plays a lot of winner. Knight f6 is more up Ding's alley. Yeah, okay, e5. Okay, so far so good. Knight fd7. Knight e4, by the way, Arjun played against me in Blitz and Bullet before. Very bad move. Wow, again. Oh, wow. What a surprise. What a shocker, by the way. What a surprise. Wow. Again. Again, that's very small little sideline. Okay, he can do it without f4. There is this other line that Carlsen played. This one, but I don't know. Let's see. Wow. What a surprise. Surprise by repeating. Fascinating, fascinating stuff. Fascinating opening here. It's a big surprise to repeat that sideline, because that sideline was supposed to be a surprise. But if you repeat a surprise, it's no longer a surprise. Or it is a surprise. No, that's the thing. Exactly. It's again a surprise. Because you don't expect it. You see, it's a meta game, but you do. Ding has of course checked it. Aha, this is a novelty. This is a surprise, by the way, for real. This is like a real surprise. Surprise. Because people only looked at f4 or knight f3. Nobody looks at a3 first. Nobody looks at it. Trust me. Ding doesn't look at a3 first. And now he's trying to confuse him. He's like, I can do this, I'm flexi. I'm flexi. And Ding is, okay guys. I'll shut down the stream, I guess, for 40 minutes. Because he's gonna think for 40 minutes here. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. See you later. Thanks for tuning in. Ding is gonna take a moment. Yeah, the bar is going to remain where it was. Gukesh has an opening initiative, but Ding has experience in these pawn structures. He's beaten Gukesh in the first game in a similar line. I don't think Ding is worried. So I'm not going to... If anything, it slightly drops. But Gukesh still has opening initiative. He's better prepared, of course, and it's a novelty. And he's going to get a lot of time advantage. Yeah, thank you. How sure are you that Ding did not look at this? 99%? No, he didn't look at it. No chance. He just doesn't look at these things. Let me see if there are even games like that. I strongly doubt it. That there are games. I mean high-level games. Strongly doubt it. So knight ce2. That is also... Oh, what a tricky guy. What a tricky guy. Kamsky played it, by the way, in Title Tuesday. And also... yeah, I think he was the strongest player who played it. Yeah, Kamsky... Okay, Benjamin Joel played it 100 years ago. Fedorovich also 100 years. It's American guys. Nigmatov. Yeah, this young guy Nigmatov. Nigmatov was 2450 in 2018 already. Still 2450. Interesting. Nigmatov played 2018. And that's about it from strong players that I can see. So the dirty, I can tell you why Gukesh is tricky. I can tell you why he's very tricky. You know why he can be sure that the Ding didn't look at it? The previous time he played this line, he started with f4. And people were wondering why did he start with f4. He started like that. And people were wondering why he started like that. Now, it could be that he started like that not to give away his other idea, because if he would have started like that, Ding would have maybe looked at this position and the orders of it. But because he started like that, it hasn't occurred to Team Ding to look at a3. I'm not sure it was intentional. Maybe they found this during the match, but it would have been a real meta game if they found it before and they kept it for the last game. It also makes sense to keep your best for the last. Makes a lot of sense when the pressure is at its highest. Yeah, it's too smart. I'm not sure it happened. I think it was accidental. But it makes no sense to start with the move f4 and not 92. And even Fabi, when he was doing his recap, he played 92. And he was showing it this order. And then he said that, yeah, maybe he had some other reason, but I'm not sure what it was. And I also was thinking, what is there's no other reason? You allow this, which is not great, but what is the reason? And now we maybe know the reason. He was being very, very... Five head. He could have had this idea already prepared before the match, and he just could have kept it. Could have kept it for the last game, simply. For the last white game. Easily possible. I knew that e4 is going to... Well, I was not sure anymore at this point, frankly, I even said. But I thought that e4 might be ushered at some point. Everybody was expecting it, always. It was too obvious that it might come. Let me check what the computer thinks about this. Probably computer thinks it's equal, just like everything else. Let me see. There probably are transpositions. I mean, they definitely are. Yeah, computer thinks it's obviously equal. Of course, there are transpositions. But there are also non-transpositions. Yeah, there are a lot of transpositions. Yeah, it's highly confusing. Highly confusing. Super confusing stuff, A3. It's a move. It's a move. Very confusing. Yeah, it's extremely confusing. So if you compare it to this line, there are here few options. F6 directly is highly dubious. You can take and go F6 when there is knight F4 and there is EF. You can also play bishop E7. And they used to play some queen b6 stuff. Not sure it's so great, but you can still probably do it queen b6. Now here, Ding has played, of course, a5 business, but you can also go bishop e7. So it depends a little bit what you prepared against f4 and knight f3. Depends a bit on that also. You could try and transpose into your, but it's very tricky. If you try and transpose into your prep with black, you might somehow mistranspose, if you know what I mean. Very confusing. Keeping f4 and knight f3 options open both. Very confusing. Ding could again do his a5 a4 thing, I'm sure. It can't be too bad in these positions. But this is exactly what Gukesh expects, of course. Very confusing. And of course the most critical obviously is f6 related business. Now direct f6, it was very dubious with knight on f3, but here it shouldn't be that dubious, of course, but it's still tricky. Because the point is, if you go cd, there are some knight e6, knight d4 options in some circumstances. And if you go cd, cd, f6, yeah, then now it's a question. So if I take, we might see some sort of a transposition. And avoided some bishop before check along the way, so some kind of transposition is possible. Depends what Ding prepared here. Very confusing for Ding. Very confusing. Yeah, Observer is sponsoring me for many years in my professional chess career. Why you don't be commentary? Why you don't be a commentator again? You are so good at that. Oh, thank you very much. Well, I did just four games. This is, I think, more than enough. I did 4 games, which is 24. So yeah, that was quite nice. It was very interesting. But the match, of course, is giving us much more than 4 exciting games. The match is providing us with excitement every day. Today is a big game. Yeah, it was obvious. Very big game. Tough for Ding to decide. Of course, he definitely has to deal with this also. I mean, if you don't know, you're afraid, of course, of this. Because yeah, it's very interesting as well. Yeah, you have to deal with these things, yeah. Now if you don't know this here, you have to calculate everything. This queen h5 check somehow is not the main issue. Usually you win some material, but probably you get smoked here. Usually they do like this, and then it gets messy. But it's a strange version now. He has to also think about it. Because this a3 move, it is somewhat useful. It is somewhat useful. Let's check with the with the bar here. Yeah. Queen h5 though is suggested. I said you're getting smoked, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I was also not sure if you're getting smoked. Very unclear business. Computer prefers, oh, like that, knight d4. Yeah, and that's why prefers queen h4. Wow, this could be also their prep. Interesting. Because if you do this here, there is no queen h5 check. This is the difference, simply. No queen h5 check. This is some other theory, by the way. Some other theory. Grishuk games. So yeah, so you of course are afraid of this, possibly, because you see these lines. I think you see this line mostly. Okay, bishop d3, bishop h6. Very unsure. c4 is dubious. 7 c4. Oh, like that. Yeah, it's always makes sense whenever white has played a3 to go for c4, because b3 cb ab no longer exists, so the weakness of light squares is present, and sometimes people go for this setups. Well, you have to compare this to advanced range in some sense. It becomes extremely similar to the advanced range. It becomes very similar. Now these two knights are clumsy, and in the other version the knights are better placed in some sense, yeah, because basically this knight is not on d2, and that knight sometimes goes f1 and then e3 and then knight g2, and they try all sorts of things, or not, or they just go, usually they go b3, knight b3, but here maybe this knight is quite well placed, yeah. Maybe, hard to say. Also, I don't know, like probably you don't go f4, yeah, but it's also not out of the question. But the problem is in these positions that the bishop is not on c2, where it wants to control its diagonal, so it's not so simple. Yeah, no, c4 you can do, yeah, probably you can do c4, but it's such a committal move. It didn't even enter my candidate moves, because usually this early you don't do this, but with a3 it's of course very sensible. Most in fact it's the most quote-unquote principled, though f6 is of course the most principled, always f6, but this is most quote-unquote principled. It's the way to really exploit a3 as a weakening move. But yeah, the computer is far from sure. Also likes knight f4 and sometimes queen g4, knight h5, very quick play. Yeah, c4 probably dangerous. I think a5 is I think he'll go a5. It's pretty clear, no? a5 is completely in the spirit. But now it's a different story, because now compared to the game, the pawn is not on e4 compared to the first game they had, the very first game they played, in fact. And now it's a different story altogether. Now it's a big question if you wanted to spend 2 tempi on this. Okay, Ding still can do his business, but a lot of interesting ideas. Computer goes directly rook h3. Rook h3, I guess, is aimed at preventing castling. Wow, they blocked ads for me apparently. Preventing castling. Very different play, you see, compared to having the pawn on f4. Now the bishop is open. Very different play. Of course, after f6 this is undermined, but yeah, always these concrete ideas. Always then there is queen h5 check kind of business. Yeah, this is fascinating, by the way. This is, by the way, not obvious that this position is bad for black at all, but it is. Yeah, a5 a4 was a giant waste of time here. So a5 a4 not quite clear that it's good. Yeah, bishop e7 can't be bad. You can't go wrong with bishop e7. Suddenly bishop to a3, what an original way of playing. Yeah, I know, Gukesh is very well prepared. Oh, you can be sure that Gukesh is well prepared. Not only did they have a lot of time to work this out, but he had an entire rest day. Like, they worked it out, that's clear. The question is if Gukesh has digested the material, but he has digested it because he had the entire rest day to prepare for this. So they also nicely synchronized that they have a wide game after a rest day, and then they hit him with the French. No, it's a perfect. perfect blow for perfect blow. In fact, I like this idea. The more I look at it, I like this idea. This bar is broken. Wait, let me put in the proper bar. Yeah, no, my bar was a bit higher. Yeah, I like this idea. I think that yeah, f6 is of course probably where the culprit lies. Probably f6 is the way to neutralize this idea. Directly or after cd f6. But you have to know this because again, this idea is not something you see anywhere else. Because normally there is a knight on f3 blocking the queen. So it's a very original idea that Ding has to deal with, and he is not prepared for this. And you can't, like, I have to say though, intuitively I felt black is doing fine here, but I have underestimated bishop h6, and how does it work? Bishop takes, or do I protect from this knight c2 first? Maybe rook c1 even. Yeah, I don't even remember what the computer was saying, but it looks what is the pawn count? 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, you exchange for a pawn. Yeah, I'm not so sure if black has enough compensation. Practically speaking, if it's obvious that black has enough compensation. And the computer was saying some knight d4, yeah, but okay, that is even like, this is very difficult to assess, no? Very difficult to assess. Yeah, you can't go here simply with black. You could be losing. No, Ding won't do this. No, this is too dangerous, too risky. Yeah, this is not, there's no way out anymore. You have to go fe, I guess. There's not even a bishop before check. Yeah, some queen b6 move is probably not happening, yeah? That's completely wild. Yeah, I don't think so. Queen h5, king e7, I don't know what, no, this is wild. No, fe, you have to go. Yeah, this is tough. Tough. No, he won't do this. f6 immediately only makes it worse, I guess. No, he's going to either go a5, bishop e7, or c4. Let's see what he did. Bishop e7, yeah. One of the moves I mentioned. And now he's going to get hit by bishop e3. Watch this. Yeah, happened. Bishop e3. And now he's completely out. Because now he realizes that he can't transpose back. Because this would transpose into his prep. This would transpose into his prep. But this doesn't transpose him anywhere. And he thought, okay, maybe the guy wants b4. As a human, you think that. You don't see bishop e3 coming. Very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. Yeah, difficult. Oh, Erwin Lamy working on the d4 course. Nice. Erwin, but this is not relevant, yeah? I mean, why are you spamming? This is an e4 game, and you are mentioning your d4 course. You should at least mention your Caro-Kann course. You could say that instead of landing in trouble here, Ding could have spent the rest day studying your Caro-Kann course. And then he would have been a lot more fine. Because now in advanced, you can develop the bishop. And as you see in the game, bishop is completely stuck here. Erwin got the question. No, I understand. But you know, if I reply to every single question I get, it would be a very, very wrong stream. Yeah, Caro-Kann would have been a better approach. 7 b5. No, it's too late, guys, for b5. b5 is, by the way, a very dubious move because a3 already anticipates b4, so you are playing into white's hands pretty much. No, bishop e7 is most normal. It's probably also what I would have expected, and then bishop e3. Yeah. Now you've completely confused poor Ding. Because in here you castle. Hang on. And in here, okay, wait, I'm trying to think. So why don't you castle? Why don't you just castle? He'll just castle. Why don't you just castle? Does he want some knight f4 or something, or what? He probably wants knight f4 or not. Let's see what the compy says here. Yeah, knight f4. Not only knight f4, but it's also really good. Wait, let me. Yeah, this is nicer. Ah, this is nasty, by the way. Whoo! This is, by the way, nasty. Oh my. Just anyway, just in case, ramping up a bit the bar because this is nasty. The idea is nasty. Oof. Yeah, you can't go f6 anymore, and the queen is out also. The genie is out. Very unpleasant. CD, CD, b5. 8 CD, CD, b5. Yeah, I also like that. And b4. I like that too. But still, first of all, it's still a question what you have achieved here. You do some b3 maybe, yeah? Opening some squares. Let's see what this compy says. b3 first line, jeez. What a boss. Yeah, no, this is decent. Yeah, if he finds CD, CD, b5, then it will be okay. So let's not panic yet. He, by the way, responded very quickly, huh? But he responded quickly because he thought, okay, let me not waste an hour, and let me just. He thought also, what is his point? I'm transposing to my prep, but you're not transposing anywhere because castle is knight f4. Okay, question is, Erwin. Question is f6. Can you f6 here? Or really not? No, it doesn't look good. Yeah. Also this and this. No, f6 is losing. Yeah. And this also looks very bad. Yeah, looks very bad. Not losing, but bad. I think it's bad. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, what can I say? Is this line a novelty? Okay, let's see if it's literally a novelty. Yeah, it's very, very rare. Bishop e7, bishop e3. Yeah, it's a new move. Bishop e3 is a novelty. Yeah, it's a new move. It's first line of computer, but it's a3 was very rare, and now this is the first. It's a novelty. It's new. It's a novelty. New idea. Bar is working. No, my bar is working. What about b5 right away? Because I must say that I feel very. I mean, I understand the idea, and it's really, really good. But I feel very conflicted about CD in general. I feel conflicted about it. I'd rather really not. So my instinct would be to check first another move like b5. What about b5 first? Is there an issue here? Is there an issue with b5 first? I like how a3 indirectly stops f6 lines. Yeah, it doesn't quite stop it, but it addresses it. Yeah, challenges it. Why not b5? Yeah, you can go b5 first, Erwin. There's no need to go cd first. f4, cd, knight d4. But I'm not gonna go cd. I'm not gonna go cd. Jeez, why is this? No, I'm not gonna go cd. You know, we have a strange hybrid, yeah? Super strange hybrid. Yeah, but he's not going to go cd first. It's just not happening. He's not going to go cd first. I don't think he's gonna do that. He's going to think very long, first of all, because this is the original position that is very dangerous, and already there are issues like castle. Most natural move is failing to knight f4. It's when it's really hard for black to play, because f6 is just not coming. And if you try, okay, first of all, okay, I don't know, this pawn probably not hanging, but here, yeah, f6 you're just getting probably checkmated somewhere. So it's just very, okay, not mated, but it's strategically dangerous. If you have a pawn here, then you never challenge anymore white supremacy here on dark squares, and you're going to also get at some point hit by g4. So f5 is not it. b5, f4, f6 someone mentioned. Yeah, this is the direction in which you could be thinking, but it's very, very risky. Very, very risky. Computer goes knight f3. Yeah, the thing is that actually makes a lot of sense to go cd. Makes a lot of sense to go CD. Because in all the lines, you have knight d4 option. So going CD, CD b5 is really, really powerful. Let's see if he does it. I think that's the most practical way to play now, especially now that he's out of book. Yeah, I mean, after people will check, they will find the most practical way to play, knowing the theory. But now that he's out of book, takes some b5 is the most practical way for him. Let me look at Ding, how he looks. Yeah, he looks chill. He looks chill. I just like how he looks. He just looks chill. He just looks chill. But he has to make a tough move though now. Yes, he does have to make a tough move, so let's not let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Why is Ding not prepared? Well, a3 is a very rare idea that doesn't it doesn't seem to make much sense, because you think that, okay, you anyway have to play f4 or knight f3, so do that first. But it seems that there is some point here to delay both moves and have knight f4. A very cool new idea. Yeah, French not so simple, guys. French not so simple. Is the bar correct? Showing balance in for stream. No, their bar is broken, I think, because Gukesh is putting pressure. He's still in preparation, has half an hour more. Has a good position. Yeah, I think the bar is broken probably. Yes, it's a tough moment. Takes b5, yeah, what else? Okay, you can still do c4. I'm not sure that bishop e7 was then priority. Because you do... Sometimes when you already go for the closure, you then do some... If a knight comes somewhere here, then you do something like this, and yeah, the bishop on e7 is then not always needed. Though not that it's, and bishop e3 probably useful move, although it's, yeah, hard to say. I think you can go c4. It's not a big deal. You can go c4, but it's just strategically very responsible move, because you leave these pawns, you leave them in peace. Of course, you have long-term ideas of this, but it's also a very abstract play. Even if you achieve all this, it's still a question. Because yeah, still these pawns are quite strong. So, but it's basically yeah, it's a thing. Especially French players who play close positions, they often just do it. You have these ideas. You have these ideas, but White also has ideas. White can try and target the long term. White can do this. White can also play without this pawn, trying to provoke weaknesses. Of course, but in the very end, White usually has to break through with f5 at the very end. But sometimes they don't rush it. They don't rush it. LCO gives line a5, a4. a5 still makes some sense, I have to say. Yeah, it still makes some sense. He might do that, yeah. It's in his system, but Gukesh this time has checked all a5, a4s very carefully. Let me change the settings. Hard to change the settings. Whenever I put analysis, the bar comes out. Yeah, a5, a4 possible. Tough moment for Ding. a6, b5 setup. There's no need for a6 here. If you want b5, you can go b5 directly. But we already established that b5 it has a disadvantage that here knight d4 is possible. So you can also start with cd, cd, b5. Now f4 makes less sense. You probably go knight f3 and then b4. Black generates some play here, and White gets distracted from playing on the king side. So this should be the safest way for Black. He should probably take on b5, as we have concluded. But yeah, Ding is going to think here long, maybe. Although he will try not to, because last time he regretted not thinking later on in the game before last, in the 11th game. but he must have regretted wasting the time in the opening, because he, as he said, yeah, I spent 1 hour and I didn't expect his next move, so it was nonsense, calculated nonsense. No, my bar is working. Yeah, calculating nonsense again, probably Ding, that is, because it's hard to calculate here, yeah. But you have to try, Okay, it's pretty obvious that castle knight f4 is not something he will allow. This looks just very bad, frankly. Very, very risky, very, very bad. So next thought will be, yeah, f6 also looks bad. Next thought will be b5. I can't say f4 terrifies me. I cannot say that f4 terrifies me. Okay, let's say, but then of course a3, the problem with b5, a3 it's a little bit anticipates it, yeah, like let's say after a5, b4 still not a threat. So probably knight f3. Yeah, I must say that move bishop b7 prepares b4, but it's such a bishop so useless here otherwise. Maybe to a6 at least. But then after b4 you'll be targeted. So I can go here. Before I'll at the very least do this, and then my pawn center is again intact. I'll go for f5 push. Although these things not so simple. I once played with Hare Krishna in such a position. f5, and that was not the end of the world for him. But I think he had a bit more counterplay than here. This looks quite dubious for black. Yeah, the move queen a5, it makes no sense here because you're just getting hit by b4 always. And queen b6. Queen b6 makes more sense. Yeah, queen b6 by the way. What about queen b6? What about queen b6? Because b4, now I'm getting, am I though? I'm getting counterplay. I'm just wondering a little bit about. Yeah, some strange position. Looks so bad for black. Yes, lost. Hang on, so this was just bad, yeah, all the way. Oh no. Wait, was it queen c4 or what? Queen c4. Okay, but yeah, queen b6 is quite dubious, as we figured out. I'm not sure Ding will want to rely on this. I mean, I can go rook c1 and... Okay, this looks... No, maybe you want to go queen b5 back, but very shaky for black. Knight goes and then queen comes, very shaky. No, queen b6 is very dubious. So he will not like that either. Yeah, c4 to me feels strategically too risky. This is my, here especially, this is my take on this. I think the problem with c4, not only... No, the knights are okay, yeah. But okay, but nobody is taking care of the king side then though. No, I think very dubious move c4, but possible. I don't know, so French players, they're more... in my French course, I was readily going for c4, because the true French player doesn't mind. But Ding is not, of course, a very true French player, yeah? He's faking it a bit. Yeah, he's still thinking. Yes, this b5, f4, a5, knight. What about some just very crude approach? Just rook b8 and just b4, ab, like something like this. Just b4. Yeah, the bishop is still not going to solve itself here. Risky business. White's got massive center and massive presence here. Very harmonious. Castle f5. Yeah, it's good for white. Whatever you look at, it's good for white. Well, CD b5. That's the only, honestly, the only. Well, or c4. Let's see what computer says about c4. Yeah, c4. Yeah, again, I don't like the bishop here a little bit for that. I think bishop was fine on f8. I think it was too early to commit it, but okay. Yeah, c4, I don't know. No, CD b5. But well, let's see, yeah? Let's see. I can maybe first go rook c1. Bishop b7. No, bar is working, guys. It's working. But just the position remains better for white throughout, so no point for it to move. But it does work. So look, if you do make a blunder, like bishop h6, for example, I mean, if you make the blunder, then the bar, of course, shoots down, yeah? So it does work. But just not... just doesn't panic, yeah, on every single little move. But it works. It's a AGI bar. It's a artificial general intelligence bar. Queen b, yeah, this we already looked. Yeah, no, this was the... I don't know if rook c1 is helpful. After before rook is also okay here. But let's just for fun try it. So knight a5 is there. Yeah, rook c1 is a strange move. Not sure it's a good move at all. Yeah, let's go knight f3. You can also go knight c3 and develop maybe like this. Yeah, computer likes it a lot for white. Yeah, I don't know. It looks really nice for white, actually. It looks really nice for white. And Ding is thinking. It looks really nice for white. Gukesh definitely very well prepared here. Knight before, yeah. Yeah, okay, but it feels also a little bit. You want a5, bishop a6, maybe, yeah. But it feels a little bit like, you know, you're not really touching white's position much here. The knight is a little bit blocking the. I don't see massive cut. Okay, but yeah, the knight just controls the d3 square first of all, so bishop cannot come here. And also white's play is also not too threatening without the bishop, yeah. You can even just maybe play normal. And if we both play normal, actually, what's your problem? King is pretty safe. Not sure at all I should have placed my knight on c3. Maybe my knight should have gone towards the king. But yeah, then you can also... Yeah, knight on b4 is very nice. It defends the d3 square. Yeah, this was the line, correct. But it could transpose. It could transpose. This is also, by the way, relevant, yeah? This one. This is also relevant. No, CD b5 is a great, yeah, I think it's a great way of playing. Let's see what is this Stockfish's first line. This is torch. Yeah, it says a5 first line, but it was a bit abstract for me. CD b5 second line. Yeah? Yeah, he goes for this. A b h4. Of course, yeah. Knight c3, bishop e2 castle is very miserable. You cannot do that. There is no play on the king side. No, you gotta go h4. h5, rook h3. Yeah, this is how you play, yeah. Yeah, because this is so miserable. Look, knight c3, bishop e2 castle. Yeah, it was. I started looking at it and I was like thinking, like, yeah, what am I even doing here? Looks like black is almost better. Yeah, this is great for black. This is dream for black. You have no play on the king side at all. Bishop is not on this diagonal. The h-pawn is not there to support the knight. The rook is here. This is very, very simple and pathetic play from white. White should go h4. h6, yeah, to stop this alpha zero business. Although it's a question. It's all question if it's so strong. It's not clear in a human play if this is so obvious. But okay, h6, rook h3. a5, let's just keep going with the plan. Rook g3, king h7 or h8. Let's say it doesn't matter. Now let's put it on h7, because if queen b1 check, then your queen is misplaced. And now queen d2 doesn't hit h6. Knight c3. So if you go just bishop a6, yeah, now it's much better story. Much better story, because we already have pawn here, we have a rook here, compared to this position with bishop e2 castle. Yeah, much better story for white. King is still on g1, but the rook is here. So castling the king was not was ruining the rook. Yeah, here's some. I don't know where exactly comp is going with it. Ah, okay, this is more, yeah, more to the point. Okay, black's play is also a bit slow here. It just ignores it. There's just no real play either. So it's yeah, it's a very sensitive position. Actually, I don't like black position at all. While in prep, do they save energy and not think? No, I think chilling is thinking is fine in chess. I think thinking is fine. It doesn't really waste energy much. Just thinking a bit about the position, but you don't burn on all cylinders, of course. There's the real Erwin Lamy. Yes, there is also the he's got the moderator tag. So it's a real one. Yeah, it's a very tough spot for Ding. Very tough spot for Ding. Oof. Especially if white is deeply prepared here. I'm already now ready to play it, but Gukesh has really looked at all this stuff. Oof. Very difficult. Very difficult to solve problems here for Ding without being prepared. Very tough spot. Now I assumed that he would be under pressure today. I assumed he would be under pressure today, but I didn't see this. I didn't realize it was going to be this bad, this early. Yeah, now he really is doing a good thing there, tanking. Because this is, by the way, knight to c4 maybe, but even if you waste these two tempi, a bishop goes back, I can always kick you back. Knight b6, knight c4 is a strange idea. Castle and f6 break, my friend, that's the problem. That castle, the guy goes knight f4, doesn't allow f6 break. f6 break, knight f4 also. Knight e6 is a threat, queen h5 is a threat. So this is a problem, that f6 break, which is the way to go in these positions, is not really happening here. That's why the bar is so high. Why would you play French if your opponent knows you're gonna play it? Well, because you looked at it and you beat him in the first game with the French, and the second one his idea was not amazing, Gukesh's. So they felt that French is safe enough. And also in e5, Gukesh has prepared for this the entire all his training camps. He was preparing for e5 only, so it's not like e5 would be safe. I mean, it was possible to buy Erwin Lamy's course on the Caro-Kann still. It wasn't on discount, but still, with millions of dollars at stake in the World Championship match, it was possible to invest and buy the Erwin Lamy's course on the Caro-Kann. But Ding somehow chose against it, and now he's paying the price. He's paying the price. He didn't expect to be hit with this idea, and it's a very unpleasant one. If only it was in discount, absolutely. Yeah, maybe c4 knight to4 knight b6. h4 h6 followed by so knight b6 h4. Yeah, no, this idea, Erwin, it's that idea was okay. You know the French better than me, of course. Probably you can do that here also, yeah, when the bishop is here. But in general, that idea, I know it. The way I played it was in the Winawer, and there were a few big differences, of course, and the main difference. So there, the light square bishop already was on a4, and the pawn was on c2. So you could safely place the queen on h7 there. But here you have to deal with this also, yeah. I mean, of course, yeah. So this is not. No, you probably, yeah. If you want to execute this plan, you gotta do it like that. Let's say, let's just showcase. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do it like that. Yeah, this particular position, by the way, this exact one, it looks good for black, but probably white, I made few moves without thinking. So c4, knight f4, knight b6. Actually, you know, I think c4 is practically not so bad. But maybe Gukesh is deep here. Let's see what this torch is thinking. h4, bishop d7, h5, h6, queen g4. You see, that's already, yeah, queen g4. That's the question. Yeah, and that's what I mean. He goes bishop f8. That's why I'm wondering, shouldn't he have gone c4 here then? You understand? Because here bishop anyway comes to e3, but I don't need to go bishop e7. Yeah, in fact, bishop e7 is would transpose. Yeah, this would have been much more practical, by the way. For although still, computer still finds issues. Yeah, still issues. Not so simple. And g6 is very committal. Very committal. Weakening a bunch of squares, but yeah, these positions are of course fascinating. Different ways of playing. Computer very fast, breaking you here. Yeah, no, this is already potentially past pawn there in an endgame, so it's I mean, just to demonstrate the advantages of the pawn structure. But yeah, it's c4 is not so simple either. Not simple either. We've got take Gukesh age into context. Mal says that 2024 he was at his best, just trying to see the growth potential. No, I think of course, I think the chess players, the problem is that in terms of your, if we take emotions out of it and sort of subjective things that influence you, if you look at a human purely as a chess playing machine, I think that probably you peak at 30 to 35 because you've gained all the experience and you're also physically at your strongest. Although of course when you're younger you can sleep less and all that, so you do have more energy in some sense. But yeah, let's say you peak age-wise, yeah, around 30, maybe 25 to 30 maybe. But the problem is also in chess that sometimes with age come certain other issues, like some people, they get a bit bored with chess. Some people get a bit fed up with certain things. Some people acquire other interests, other obligations also as well. So these things, they get in the way a little bit sometimes. So it's not so clear. Advantage of being 18, of course, is that you're most of the top players at 18 are fully focused on chess with no other commitments. Although some people do have studies as well, but I don't think it's the case with Gukesh. But some people do have school or universities. Like I think Vasil Agraf was even studying university for a while. MVL. So yeah, it's not. I think it depends person per person, on person per person basis. Carlsen was in 2009 he was already very strong, and that was 19. Yeah, Carlsen peak probably was between 9 and 19, so he was aged 19 to 29, and he's still Rapid and Blitz. He's probably peaking now, so it's not so clear. I'm not busy with anything other than chess. No, not really, but a little bit, yes, I guess. A little bit, yes, I guess. But I don't have like a big other project now, like I'm not running a business or something. More like casual obligations, like going groceries and so on. Yeah, Ding is, oh boy, 50 minutes down. Yeah, difficult spot. Yeah, you can't say who peaked when, because also when Vishy picked somebody else. Now, you see Vishy's career obviously flourished. Well, his career was always amazing, but his biggest achievements I guess came when he became world champion, and that was when that coincided with Kasparov not playing anymore, let's say. So, but I'm not sure that Vichy, let's say 2008, necessarily stronger than Vichy in, I don't know, 2000. Like, I'm not sure why would that be the case, but of course in 2008 Vichy was a world champion, and in 2000 he was not a world champion. It was Kramnik playing Kasparov. By the way, Vichy could have played Kasparov too. I heard some stories that Vichy could have played Kasparov too. That it was actually I didn't hear it from Vichy, but I heard from some other sources that because Shirov qualified for that match with Kasparov, but there were all kinds of talks about other opponents for Kasparov that Kasparov felt were more were higher ranked at the time, and whatever, it was easier to find sponsor maybe. Anyway, he was considering to play Vichy too, I heard, and it was also being negotiated. That being said, back to the question, not clear at what age you pick, but anyway, it's not the main issue. Both players, both Ding and Gukesh, are within the territory of the peak age, plus minus. Ding is, I think Ding is, he's not my age, right? He's a bit older, or not? I think Ding is 92 born, right? Yu Yangi is 94. I think Ding is 92. Shame I don't know it actually. Let me check. Ding was 90. Yeah, I think it's 92, right? Fabi is 92. Maybe Ding is. Let's see. Ding is. Suddenly I click Ding age and I got the snooker player. Ding Liren age. No, Ding is 92 born. Yeah, he's 32. Yeah, no, 32 is also fine. 18 also fine. Has pluses and minuses. You could sense that Ding's strategic understanding, positional understanding is a bit more refined because of the age, but a bit less enthusiasm for preparation. Could explain why he's getting surprised in most of the games, and a bit less energy also to prepare so much, conserving a bit of energy. So you never know. Why is Ding chilling? Well, it's not chilling. I explained to you the issues. So you can't go for FC because of knight f4. You can't go castle because of knight f4. Yeah, no, I think I'll probably sign off for now because it's a very tough spot for Ding. And the game is slowing down. The game is slowing down massively. But do keep watching the game, and yeah, I'm looking forward. I think a recap is coming today. That's for sure. A recap is coming because this is some good stuff. A very, very dangerous opening idea. Very dangerous opening idea by Team Gukesh. They're doing so far an incredible job. The only small little slip, the previous game, somehow they haven't warned Gukesh. It seems, yeah, that the position that he was going to get was much more dangerous than it looks. So maybe the previous game that Gukesh lost, maybe team can take part of responsibility for it too. I don't know exactly though. Maybe it could also be entirely Gukesh's choice and responsibility. Hard to say. I don't know the intricacies, but it could have been, of course, that there the team wasn't showing their best sides. But on I think most other days, and particularly today again, Gukesh's team has done a great job. Great job finding a very, very dangerous idea. CD b5 before black is better. No, black is not better. We looked at it. CD b5 before we looked at it. There was this issue. This h4, h5, rook h3, rook g3 was quite unpleasant. I found it quite unpleasant. If I'm prepared. Well, we'll see if Gukesh wins. We'll see. It's a long way to go. He has an opening advantage, but so far this never meant anything. Some of the games where he had opening advantage, so one he lost in the first round. Some were he won, like when he won one, he had opening advantage in the previous white game, then everything collapsed, he was worse, and then he won anyway because of more turns of events. So it's very hard to say. Knight b6 played. I was looking at this knight b6, by the way. I was looking at it. It was staring me in the eye, but I said that it was not amazing. Yeah, let's see what the computer is saying about it. Yeah, I mentioned this line. Wait, bishop c1, there is some... Oh, there is a lot of issues. Bishop c1 is just not it. No, here it's not it. Yeah, I think I mentioned bishop c1 in... maybe in this context, but even here it's not it. Yeah, bishop c1 is just not it. You don't have the time for b3. This is always a check, yeah. Yeah, the point is actually to do... yeah, to do this, which is very dangerous. Because you've given up light squares, but now you're developed so quickly. The bishop got developed by trading, and everything is now already ready to fight for dark squares. Oof. Very dangerous position here. Computer very crafty. Castle's long. And then dark squares. Oof. Yeah, this is very, very unclear. Can do the same after trading as well. Or you can trade later. And maybe you can try and not rush it, yeah? So bishop d7 also. That's the point. Ah, yeah, makes sense. You don't commit to knight c4. Now you go for knight a4. Yeah, this seems much more sensible. And if knight f3, and if now knight c4. Yeah, now knight a5, yeah, maybe. Aha, knight a5, knight bishop a4. Yeah, reasonable, reasonable, interesting. Knight b6 is interesting. So you don't go knight c4, of course, of knight a4, you just go bishop d7, knight a5. Queen c7. You play as if you played c4, but without playing c4. That makes sense. Very reasonable. Ding's responses are always so reasonable. He's a very strong player, what can I say? Gukesh is thinking also. Gukesh is thinking, so it hasn't been at the forefront of his prep. And yet he remembered the move knight f4. But no, I like black's position. This game will turn very greasy soon, says Ermelami. Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. This is gonna get very muddy. But you know that. Oh, you know what Ding wants? Oh, I understood already. He's going to castle long. He's going to castle long. He's going to castle long. Yeah, it's going to be a greasy game. It's for sure. He's down 50 minutes. Yeah, but it's not an issue for him. Gukesh also likes to think later. And Ding is, he doesn't mind. He's fine. He's just playing his own pace. He doesn't care about the opponent, it seems. Playing his own pace. Gukesh is not out of prep now. He played knight f4 quickly. Ding has a choice between 3 different approaches. Knight c4, c4, or staying flexible. And it seems to me that the strongest way... Okay, this computer is weak, but it seems to me that probably the strongest way is to be flexible. Most practical way, at least. But it's not clear. Not clear. And knight c4 I like the least. It feels very... very worrying, the dark squares that I saw in the line after takes queen g4 knight f3. Dark squares were very worrying. c4 is a little inconsistent. No, bishop d7 is the most. This is not an issue, right? Yeah, this is a bit of an issue. But okay, if he sees this, yeah, if he sees this, he should accept it. It's okay. Oof, rough. Yeah, it's also unfortunate for Ding indeed that Gukesh is still in his prep. But he responded well. Bishop d7 now. It's a good response. It's a very decent response. Very, very decent response. You should not fear DC, because that gives up white central control. Black gets compensation there. Yeah, Ding is quite chill. His thinking is quite chill. CD. Oh, that's really not liked by the computer. What does he want? He wants knight c4, huh? Oh boy. He's getting into this. Computer doesn't like it. Computer does not like it. Oh yeah, he went for it. If Gukesh takes on queen g4, the bar is gonna shoot. The bar is gonna shoot. And he's going to do it. I can tell you that he's going to do it. The team this time checked it very thoroughly. They don't want to leave it to chance, this idea. The team this time, they did a good job. They checked thoroughly. And Gukesh also did this time. Went through the file more carefully than last time. And no, he's going to take and play queen g4. He also has no other move. I understand Ding, because usually you only think about bishop c1 as like the principal. You kind of always feel that it's a big achievement to win the light square bishop. I understand. And it would be, maybe it would be if white had to play knight f3. It would be quite a big achievement, it would be fine. But this queen g4 issue, yeah, you don't want to go g6. And here, yeah, you're getting some serious attacks. And you have no counterplay yet. You have potential, like you have the diagonal, you have the passed pawn, but it's very slow and white's attack is very fast. So if Gukesh takes place, queen g4, this stream will end, the bar will shoot, and yeah, he's got to take. He's gonna take. He's going to take. Things looking very good out of the opening for Gukesh. Of course, like not in terms of humanly speaking. Humanly speaking, it's very unclear. Black has massive assets here. But if Gukesh is prepared for this, it seems that white's assets outweigh black's assets. This, by the way, is a very interesting line, but can't imagine Ding going for it and being happy. Like, could be lost. Yeah, just... Okay, bishop c1 you can't even do, no? It's just queen a5, right? You're just losing on. So yeah, you have no... What, you're gonna give this bishop or this pawn or what? No. Yeah, knight f3 makes no sense. No, he's gonna take. There's no other move. Here he has some options, but queen g4 is screaming to be played. Screaming to be played. It's also so nice, the idea of delaying the knight very often, that you can jump out with the queen. No, he must be out of book. But I think, no, he's not out of book. He just wants to make sure there's no more shenanigans like last time. No more mix-ups, no more jokes, no more kidding around. No more, he's very, very young. So he's learning very quickly and on the go. Gukesh is learning on the go. Older players, they are set in their ways. For example, Nepo, he's fast. He's going to be always fast. Think he's slow. He's going to be always slow. But Gukesh, he's learning on the fly. He's shaping himself still. He doesn't have a clear style or a clear pace yet. He's shaping himself as he's improving. So he's changing throughout the match, learning from the experiences on the go. So now he's, for example, not repeating the same mistake or trying not to repeat the same mistake and rush it. Now that he caught Ding in his prep, so he's now being extra careful and taking extra time for bishop c4 and queen g4, which I think he even remembers. Is queen g4 a move? That is a great question. I guess, yeah, really not. Really not, apparently. Because if you do it, hang on, if you do it here, is it knight h5? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, okay, the knight on c4, it targets the pawn and this, and yeah, there you had bishop d2. Now, when this was happened already, you had bishop d2. Now you don't. So it's just massive difference, and very obvious one too. But okay, let's see how to. So if he takes, goes queen g4. First of all, yeah, knight d4. It's not obvious. Long castle. Knight b3. King b1. Knight h5. Yeah, this all must be in the file, by the way. It should be in his prep. Such lines have to be in the prep. They are also in the, for sure they are. I mean, there's a team that's working on it. They definitely have looked at it. I hope for him. Yeah, how does black here? How does black play here if he wants to survive? Yeah, maybe this ugly move g6 is solving a lot of short-term issues, so maybe you do it. Now knight e2 also. When cd is included, the c3 square available for the knight, so this knight e2 becomes even more attractive. Oh, do you think Ding wants to take the match to tiebreak? Oh yes. Oh yes. Ding wants now, but now is Ding gotta fight. He's gotta fight here. It's not looking good, the computer suggestions, I must say. Computer doesn't help here. Computer doesn't help here. Guki is really making sure. Let me think a bit. Computer is of no use here. Let me think a bit. Yeah, I'm also looking at queen a5 check, definitely. Definitely looking at queen a5 check. And at knight d4. No, g6, knight e2 just looks bad. He made the move. And it must be a take-take, because the moves came very fast. Captures, yeah. Yeah, and now one... This he has to show, if he knows. This is the last important move. If he goes queen g4, the bar will shoot up. No, computer no use here, unfortunately. Computer doesn't help. In some positions, it's better to... In some positions, interestingly enough, it's better to think without computer. It's a paradox. In bad ones, in bad positions. It was very interesting. I remember one time was a tournament with a German, and Jababa was playing, and he was lost, and he said that I'm not going to look at computer. I'm going to try and find the best chance myself. That made a lot of sense, because computer will just show you all the... Okay, you can of course still work with computer and try to find it, but it's also interesting to do without, because then you are not then you don't... Sometimes computer sees a response that your opponent will not see. So looking at it from human perspective gives you more options, gives you better options. Let's see if Gukesh will go queen g4. This is crucial. Yeah, he can also just develop the knight, of course, but this is this makes a huge difference. Queen g4 puts a lot of pressure, but of course you have to deal with knight d4 and queen a5 check. Castle, yeah, what was it? Any knight move, yeah. Knight e2, knight f3. So knight d4, long castle. Knight b3, king b1. The hand wants to go to c2 because you have the illusion that rook is under attack, but rook is protected by the queen, so you can just go to b1. King here is more vulnerable to this diagonal. Okay, let's see. Maybe it was knight h5. Yeah, it becomes kind of fascinating stuff. But it starts to look like already maybe there's some beautiful checkmates here. Fascinating stuff. But if Gukesh knows this, it could be just lights out, so Ding cannot go here. 92 played. Yeah, this is not a computer move at all. Computer doesn't hate it. Doesn't hate it, but it's a big big bummer. It's a bit better for white, but queen g4 was a lot more challenging. Let's see. Yeah, it is nice, of course. It's a very clean approach by Gukesh. Very risk-free approach. Very risk-free approach. Let me check one thing. Guys. On very powerful computer. Let me see. I think on Gukesh FIDE they have it. I want to just see on a very powerful computer, what did the engine say? No, it doesn't show the previous move to me. No, because this is here f6 he says, but f6 is difficult. I want to see how it was. Where can I see it? Let me see. I can see it just in chess base, of course. Let's see. Bishop e3, knight b6, knight f4. Okay, so queen g4 or knight e2. Let's see the difference on a strong computer. Yeah, queen g4 is probably just really good. Yeah, no, Gukesh forgot his prep, or wasn't as deeply prepared as we were expecting him to be. Queen g4 was massive. Knight g2 is queen g4 is +1. Yeah, doesn't come down quickly at all. Queen g4 was a big problem. And knight e2 is small advantage for white. After castle though, advantage is quite, yeah, hard to say. It's not very large. For example, there is an interesting line. If I castle, so if I go b5, yeah, you have knight c3, but computer likes a6 first, and if knight c3, then there is f6 idea, targeting this pawn. And even stronger computer thinks is f6, but f6 is, I don't know, why don't you cast? Okay, the computer does some weird. Nah, humanly, I don't think you do this. You think like, okay, what for? Also, you suffer here. Well, you know what the good thing is for Gukesh? He has no risk now. He has no risk. No risk in the near future. I don't see him risking in any line, so it's still better for him. It's not a 50-50. It's not a +1, but it's like 0.085. Please flip the board, somebody says. Yeah. No big opportunity missed by Gukesh, but at the same time, it is a very safe advantage here. Well, it hasn't yet clarified, but they're strong players, so it will eventually transpire. Black is, if black had the diagonal control and the d5 square control, yeah, black could even be better, but the knights are perfectly placed for this, for the showdown. Perfectly placed for the showdown. The queen will come out, the rook will come here after castle. And if knight leaves, then d5. Yeah, no, it's... And there would be a scenario, like let's just show you a scenario in black's dreams. White is doing absolutely nothing, ever. Let's make it nicely ugly. Yeah, the scenario black is rolling here. Here black is better. Black's winning. But it's just not happening. I've done a lot of moves that were just doing nothing. In reality, what happens is knight c3, castle, queen out, rook d1. And you control the square. Queen is vulnerable. So black has to be very accurate with f6 ideas. Very accurate. to try and desperately equalize. He can't equalize. He can only get worse. 92 is okay, especially practical. If you don't know, if you're out of book, it's completely fine. But I was just hoping that he is in book. I mean, okay, if you're out of book, yeah. How do you assess this stuff? How do you assess this? How do you assess that? Of course, you can't assess this. Out of book, you're worried about this. So if he's out of book, 92 is a very fine choice. But I was just expecting that he might be still very much in prep for some reason. It would be insanely deep, but okay, could be, I don't know. Maybe there are 5 people working on the line, and okay, one guy working on bishop e7, one guy working on a5, and they have like giant files, and they've showed him everything. I don't know. Who knows, yeah? But okay, in reality, of course, you can only be as deep, because chess is such a wide game. Like, there are 5 moves here, there are 5 moves here, there are 5 moves here, and there are 5 moves here. It's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, so it goes exponential, you know. 3 moves deep, it's how it is, 525 times 5, 100 whatever, yeah, 125. So, and then you go one more step deep, 125 times 5, you know, that's already probably 725 or something, yeah. So it's just exploding. No, it's 620. It's 625, yeah, I think. Yeah, probably 625. Anyway, it's exploding. And then one more time, yeah, 625. And then one more times 5. You can do times 10 and divide by 2, yeah, that's easiest. So that will be like 3, 1, 2, 5, yeah. Yeah, 3,125 options, 5 moves deep, if there are 5 moves on each move. So you can't check everything. And with that in mind, he played, by the way, so very quickly still. He wants to keep the pressure. Yeah, no, this is very nice for white. Very nice for white. Because he checked this, of course. But now there is maybe queen g7 after cd. So he was like, hang on, he thought. Compared to this position, I have now c3 square for the knight. So he started to compare, and he decided, let me do this. Yeah, we can wait for Ding's move, of course, before we leave. He's about to make one. If it's castle, okay, I mean, f6 is very... Okay, once you see it, it's of course very sensible to go for this position. Is not at all an issue to refuse it. Yeah, it's maybe the best position, but you just don't think of that. And he goes b5, knight c3, a6, queen g4. It's what I would think. It looks even better than anything we've seen so far. And b4 maybe, something like this maybe. So shaky for black. Yeah, this is target. Let's say a castle, maybe a castle. Maybe I come here. I'm looking, because players are out of book, so I'm now also looking without engine, because there's no point to look with engine. They don't see engine. But what I do know is that the engine liked white a lot, so I can be nicely optimistic for Gukesh. Yeah, here you should think, yeah. You should think. It also makes sense to castle as well. It makes some sense to start with castle. Why not? Knight g3. This is really nice knight here. It's really nice here. And also on g3 it's a bit overkill, no? 2 knights after g6 both will be neutralized. I don't know, it's possible, but a little bit of an overkill, I think, no? Like, I think this knight does the job that is needed to do here on the king side. I don't think you need one more, but okay, I don't know. I'm not with computer here anymore, so I'm not sure. But I don't think knight, no, to me I think knight here is the... Yeah, I think he wants this b4 maybe. And if castle, by the way, why didn't he? He didn't because he thought if castle, he thought maybe knight c3. He didn't realize, of course, that f6 is probably the move always. I don't know. Maybe he wants to keep the option of not castling. Yeah, this is a tough spot for Guki now, because he has to somehow build up on his advantage, which he knows is supposed to be there. But it's not too obvious, but it of course looks very dubious for black. So let's say knight c3, let's say b4, take, let's say I just castle, let's say you castle. Okay, let's say I come out here. This is coming. Not the end of the world, but a massive question. G6 would weaken the dark squares tremendously. Go king h8 maybe. Doesn't look terrible for black, I have to be frank. I have to be honest with you, it does not look terrible to me on the eye. Maybe I'm missing something, but it doesn't. Okay, now here it's that. So wait, maybe that's important. Maybe that's important, actually. Okay, so that's important. And if you go full ignore modus, yeah, this is as risky as it gets. There is also this issue with knight g7, yeah? I mean, this could be just also, I mean, looks like it could be just lost, to be honest, for black. Okay, maybe it's not, but I saw recently some game Alparian played. He had this construction and he was winning, but here I don't know. Just thinking still. And if Ding wants to just go a6, queen to g4, so knight to h5. This is also interesting, such business, but it could yeah, this was more or less Alparian's game. It's kind of funny. Okay, now this pawn is, but this is kind of funny construction that could happen. No, bar not broken. It's just always better for white position. Queen f, queen g4, rook d1. Yeah, Guki is in thought. Guki is in thought. Yeah, I think it's the game has begun. The game has begun. They're both thinking. Okay. I like Gukesh's chances, but he's now on his own completely. He has a nice advantage. I think there's not much risk for him as of yet, but things could still spiral out of control anytime. And yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's got more time, better position. But Ding is gonna fight as he did so far, and Ding's reaction so far has never been bad, so no reason to think that this is very bad either, practically speaking. So we'll see. Very dubious for black, of course, but it's on Gukesh now. It's on Gukesh. Knight c3 before. Take, castle, knight h5, strong, someone says. Yeah, queen g4 similar, knight h5 also strong. Yeah, it looks very dangerous for black, definitely does. But he castled. Probably will be the same thing. Yeah, this will looked, yeah, I think I saw this. Better for white. Yeah, it wasn't very nice for white. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I have to go, guys. Have some plans today. Going to celebrate Gukesh's World Championship title after he wins this game. No, but it's still all to play for. He has an advantage though, and tomorrow he's gonna have black, so it's going to be fun, but currently things are looking very good for him. So expect the unexpected. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you tomorrow.